Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I certainly appreciated that extra hour with the time change. Having a little more daylight earlier in the morning is nice, although I never did care for the sunset coming so early. You all addressed some good ideas in your discussion this last week about the final project, and I hope that you have also found it helpful to see your classmates' ideas and also to both receive and give responses, and that all of that was helpful for you as you think through all of your ideas. So this week, of course, we only have one assignment due, and that is, of course, your final project proposal. So for this proposal, you'll need to make your final decision on what you'd like to do for the final project. And I left some comments for you when I graded your brainstorming discussion, so you might check those comments in case I had any advice there. But in some cases, my feedback was simply to say that you had some good ideas that were going to work well, whichever you chose. And so for your final project proposal, you will address your plan for the project in as much detail as you can, more detail than you did this last week in your earlier discussion. And so your proposal will need to be 1 to 2 pages, roughly 350 to 600 words. You can go longer if you need to. And of course, I do have some several requirements listed for you for that proposal, and make sure you do read through those instructions carefully on Canvas and make sure that you are including all of those elements. But quickly, just to summarize, as I mentioned in those instructions, your proposal should include first a brief introductory paragraph that describes the project and its purpose, its goals. Also, a brief but detailed description of what you believe will be appropriate, an appropriate volume in terms of the page length, word count, video length, word count for the website, blog, number of web pages, number of blog sections, or other measurable parameters that could be used to determine the effectiveness of your project. That will vary greatly depending on what type of project you are focusing on. Also, a detailed outline of the steps that you will need to take to complete the project. So you might, of course, consider a timeline and listing that out for completing the project. That'll be very helpful for you and for me. Also, a brief list of resources that you will need to complete the project, at least starting resources. You might need more after the ones you find initially. And of course, a brief paragraph describing specific challenges, questions, or issues that you think may need to be addressed. And of course, any specific ideas you might have now for addressing and meeting those challenges. So the more detailed, the better, as that will make it easier for me to provide you feedback and guidance, and also will help you think through your project sufficiently. And of course, I would note that while this is set up as a discussion board, responses to classmates are optional on the final project proposal submissions. I do think, though, that you're going to find it helpful to see your classmates' plans, which is why we are taking the discussion board approach for that. And of course, that'll be due on Tuesday. So then, after submitting your final project proposal, check back later for my feedback. I will try to grade those quickly so that you can see my feedback within a day or two after it is due. And of course, if you're submitting it earlier, maybe even before then. So then you will need to get started on your project. And as I've mentioned in one of my previous announcements for this project, this final project, a lot will depend on your own self-discipline and scheduling to make sure that the work gets done. While, of course, we will be having a check-in assignment later, when you will, of course, be giving me an update on your progress. We won't be having regular Canvas assignments for this, since we are having really quite a variety of different projects, which, so a lot will lie on your shoulders and making sure all that work gets done. But of course, you do not want to put off the work, so start scheduling time every day to make some progress on your final project. List out all of the tasks you need to complete, and then, of course, hold yourself to it so that you can make sure you get all of it done. And of course, I am very happy to help out as well. While I'll be leaving some feedback on your project proposal, I'm also happy to answer questions at any time, and also meet with you if you'd like to. Video is always a good good option for that. And I also encourage you to keep me updated beyond the required update check-in assignment that we'll be having on November 14th, which is still 10 days from now or so. So, of course, if emailing me an update every few days is helpful for you to stay on track, then do that. I'm always glad to get those emails with updates. And, of course, I'm always very happy to look at work in progress, talk through questions and difficulties, do whatever I can to help you succeed. I guess I'm going to leave it at that for now. This is long enough. So I do, though, look forward to reading all of your proposals and your plans, and what your final decisions are on your project. And of course, as always, if you do have any questions, don't hesitate to ask.